I've made that. Alright. Alright, call the meeting to order at, 6 o'clock. We'll do a roll call.
Jamie Overland?
Jared Mercer, Tom Fath,
William McMahon.
Harry Lowenthal. Approval of minutes. Is there any, one change, we need to make, Randy mentioned, was, Mark Jaren Scalpa's absence. We haven't, he hasn't sent us like an official resignation, so we'll mark him as absent at this point. Any other changes? Alright. Anyone want to make a motion to
Make a motion to approve the minutes, save for that change.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Opposed? Motion passed. Old business, we have beautification committee benches at Prairie Meadow Park. I just wanted to go full circle with that one to kind of, you brought, I think, to one meeting about, putting benches out at Prairie Meadow Park and had a budget for it, but then Bubba, did you want to give an update on kind of why that ended up?
How many benches did he have again? 4?
I thought so from Clear Lake.
Okay, so 2 of them, we had discussed about using that Prairie Meadow Park. There were some suggestions from the community about having them closer to the playground area. And then 2 of them will be when we get the courtyard next door going.
Okay. And he's able to refurbish those?
Yeah, he said they're pretty decent looking, so whatever we need to do, we'll do it as far as getting them looking better, but.
That's awesome. Does that save a little bit of money?
Lot, it takes a lot, yeah.
I know they weren't cheap, so. Any other old business? All right, new business. The beautification committee, they've been working on, I know you've applied for grants as well, but they have, some signage options for Main Street Park and, also an entry sign. So do you wanna talk about that? We can pass this around.
Well, those, I think, all of those, I can't remember what's on that one, I think those are all just Main Street.
No,
So-
it's one of them.
Oh, it's
and
got,
2
and
of them,
entry. So, I think Laura was able to find it in the budget to be able to fund at least one of them, the Main Street this year.
I can do the.
Oh, and maybe the Gateway then. So we're kind of looking at, making sure with, making sure that they're gonna meet the new guidelines, because I guess there's been, we've been working with the American Legion and they've had some questions, and so I think these meet the
Yeah,
guidelines,
I
but,
talked to Charlie, so the gateway sign that we want to
Pass this
use
around, so.
is more of the, along the lines of the monument style that the zoning ordinance currently has and will have when we do the adopted new one. But the Main Street Park sign, we said if we drop it, down like to 5 feet and put what he calls snap wall, which I haven't figured out what that is yet, but around it to make it look monument style, then that would work, and that's pretty inexpensive. So the park sign, I think, came out at $432, I think.
And that's the one all the way on the left on that sheet.
Well-
I put a star next to it.
Yeah,
the top left one.
Yeah, but the poles are gonna be a hickory, we found some pole covers that are hickory that'll match kind of the wood, and they'll be outlined in white. And the gateway sign is a 3D style sign. It's aluminum, but it's got a composite over it.
Right.
Both of them are the same material. The gateway sign, I believe, came at $2,400-ish.
Right. And that's where we were hoping that we can put the Lions Club logo, like you see it on here, the
Masons.
Masons, and,
Possibly service organization signs per the zoning ordinance are pretty much the only thing that can go on that white bar, the bar at the bottom. So
that way we can get rid of the chain link signs that are out there right now that are at intersection of 6 and 2 and 421 and
yeah,
6 and,
that are falling
And
and
north.
looking kind of bad.
so that's our plan so far.
Been there a while.
A long time.
70s?
Oh, probably even. Some of the signs are so faded, I have no idea what they are.
So, yeah, so Brian Bartles put the one
Yeah.
up. as
Boy Scouts or Eagle
yeah,
Scouts
he
or
was, he
something.
graduated in 1980,
So,
so. been there a long
Just
time.
curious for the service organizations, with the Methodist church that does the resale shop, the food pantry, and their other outreaches, do they count as a service organization?
according to Charlie, no.
Okay.
But, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about that, since we're kind of in the middle of the whole restructuring our zoning ordinance and trying to adopt the Fort counties. He has to look into that a little bit further, but he didn't believe so.
I mean, there's more than one church in town, so you can't really say, well, one church can do it, but, the other church, or the other two churches, and you really, when you get down to it, they're not necessarily a not-for-profit organization that services the entire community, although they do help, the churches definitely do help. But I think it's gonna look okay if we have 2 or 3 signs down there, but if you start getting too many, then obviously it's not gonna be very appealing.
We're trying to.
People aren't gonna notice it anyway, so.
Yeah.
And we're really gonna try to work with the Lions Club. They have funds set aside, so if we can gain some support from them, that this will work for them, and they're okay with it, then we may even get some funding from them to be able to do more than just the one sign right now. They may have the funding to do, help us do 2 signs, 3 signs. So, but I haven't talked to, Rich Weston or, I don't remember the president of the Lions Club, but,
Alphonse.
yeah, to talk to him yet. Hasn't happened yet.
If we run into like one thing is that with the service organizations, if there's there's more service organizations than we originally think that want to be on there, if we run into issues with that, is it gonna be better not to have any?
Well, this is the whole point of that bar on the bottom was to try to eliminate those chain link fence signs that are up now with everybody's sign up, because they look.
How many do we have on there now?
How many signs are on each one?
Well, there's a big
5.
Pumpkin Fest sign, there's, at least one church sign.
Westville High School has a sign, it's completely gray. One's gray, one is orange, because they're so faded and where the sun is. It's just, but the high school sign is not in compliance with the zoning ordinance as well, so. We gotta sit down with Charlie and kind of go through this, but, and the beautification committee, that was one of the things they wanted to do, was to get rid of the chain link things that are standing, because they're not aesthetically pleasing. They kind of are falling over, and all the signs are, no one has really maintained their signs, I guess. The Lions Club has maybe, and Masons, but still, I don't know, that's still a work in progress of what signs
You
we
raise
can
a good
keep.
point, though. I mean, if you do,
Mm-hmm,
at some point, then say to somebody, no, we're not gonna let you do this, when you let other ones do it,
Mhm.
you do potentially run into it.
mm-hmm.
If nothing else, ill will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what other organizations, I don't think there are any other service organizations who currently have signs on the chain link ones. We don't have a JC, we don't have I don't know that there are any other service organizations right now based in Westville.
Well, I mean, there's Tri-Kappa, I mean, I think.
Well, Tri-Kappa was one of the ones that was mentioned to go on that. But now, if we have more than one gateway sign, does the Lions Club and all the service organizations have to be on all of them, or can we,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
see what I mean?
That's a
One,
really good
if we
idea.
run out of room, then we can always do the next sign,
Yeah.
next group. I mean,
Mhm.
I do think it's a good idea, though, to look at like the food pantry and.
yeah, I'll have to talk to Charlie
Yeah,
about,
with Charlie.
we're just trying to stay in compliant with the ordinance, so it's kind of.
Because that is that's
Difficult.
important.
Is there a way to work with, I don't know if we could do this or not, but with a sign like this, if they have the sign on there, they have to contribute, you know how like sometimes parks have like who contributed? Is it possible to do that, or would that be kind of not such a,
I don't know that that would necessarily be the best idea in the world to do.
Can I see that again?
So, yeah, so you're saying that it would make sense that we would help them have funding for these signs, because right now we don't really have the funding. So if we gain funding from the organizations who want to put their signs on, then we may get the funding that we need to put the signs up. Otherwise, we may not have the money to put the signs up.
one thing to mention, there is a Westville Community Fund, yeah, so the Unity Foundation, there is a certain amount of funds, right away, cash available. This might be an opportunity for it, so that, I think it'd be coordinating, I know you applied for a grant, but it'd be taking your grant application and just probably getting in touch with the chamber.
You told me,
Yeah.
that to Drew, and
No, that's fine.
I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, but the Unity Foundation, work with Unity Foundation and Chamber of Commerce, and they have some funds available, possibly available for this type of project,
Yeah.
so.
And there's a chance with that sign in that bar, the way that's set up, that you could almost do two of those across the bottom of one of those signs if you had to. You'd have to limit
It depends how
the
high.
size of the emblems that go on there.
Now, each service organization sign, they will purchase, so it's, and they'll have to meet
You
the
could have a
size that has to
guideline
be,
for what they could provide.
right. So it's possible, it just depends how
You might have room.
high the
for
sign is, how much room we have at the bottom and whatnot. But, yeah, there's also,
Sure.
Might as
well
possibilities.
try
And if the people come out of the woodwork, I mean, you could even run vertical runs, up the side, and you could get them on there if you need to.
I mean, we're just trying to make it so it's pleasing. to the eye.
I like the idea, I like the design. I think we don't have to change all our branding in Westville, which is nice.
Right,
That's one thing you have concerns with, if you do, the signs don't match what we currently have, then we have
yeah, we'll have
everything
it,
looking
right,
different.
What signs?
Yeah,
yeah,
well, we have logos on, don't we even have a banner on this?
right here, yeah.
Well, that
It's on the
banner
shirt,
is what we put on this
Yeah,
sign.
it's
Yeah.
all everywhere, so.
Yeah, so that's why it's
This one
interesting,
here.
Yeah.
so, it's consistent across the board.
I agree, I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel on that.
So right now at this meeting, right now, I think the Main Street sign for sure needs to be replaced. We need to give a favorable recommendation to town
Yeah.
council.
Right, the town council has got some authority.
Yeah.
We looked at the beautification committee ordinance like today.
Yeah, we have to, that's what it is,
Yeah.
we talk to you guys and then the planning commission takes it to council.
I would like,
The ordinance reads.
I would like to recommend these, the entry sign and the Main Street sign, and, push it up to recommend it to the town council to review for approval. If we
Now-
can get once, cause this has been an ongoing, I've heard about it for like 5 years,
Yeah.
about these signs, so if we can get movement on it.
And I'll tell you now, the only way we're gonna get one of them purchased this year is if we get approval like next week, because I have the funding now in seated. I will not have that funding
For
next year.
one sign,
For one sign and the one gateway and one park sign.
for each for one of each.
I have enough money in seated to do it. I
When's
will not have it next year, so I say get it while the getting is good.
next Tuesday?
Do you need a motion to make that suggestion to the
Yes.
town council? I make a motion that we suggest that the Main Street sign and the Welcome to Westville sign, we make a suggestion to the town council that, they fund that.
Okay, I'll, second the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but as that gets going and you start seeing that, then you might wanna put that in there as to what a recommended size would be for any of the
Yep,
service
and that would
organizations.
probably also be a Charlie thing as to how big they can be, I don't know.
Because I would think, I'll have to remember, I go in LaPorte next to look, because I thought they had Kiwanis and some of those things up there outside of the town.
They may,
I'll
have to
take
see
a
what
look.
size they can be and whatnot, but.
So what do you think of the brown versus like the blue and white? Like the gateway sign is blue and white. I mean, that's kind of pinkish, but it's
gonna be
supposed to be white.
Yeah.
No, I think that looks sharp, it pops.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of parks.
The
All
green
parks,
sign, we kept
yeah.
that way for kind of park theme.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like every park you go to, brown and green.
Yeah,
Right, so the park sign will be the brown and green with the white around the edges, but we like the blue, like the,
No, it's perfect.
yeah, the blue and white kind of really pops out.
And go with
You
their
guys are
recommendation.
spot on,
Yep.
this is, all the other attempts people have made have been mired down in the details and then lost. So if you can get it done, get it done.
yeah, we have the funding, it's real necessary if we wanna do it, to get it, at least one of them purchased.
And sooner or later, you just gotta pull the trigger on it, because
Right.
no matter what you do, somebody's not gonna like, so.
Right.
Well, and we found a really reasonable company to do the signs.
Yeah, who was that?
Simcoe out of Valpo.
Yeah,
I got 3 quotes, they were the cheapest one by far, like.
and they, they're very easy to work with, they
Yeah.
will, we got the brown, post ordered for the smaller sign, and they said just bring that in, and they'll even match the brown color of the sign to whatever post we bought, so.
Are you planning on having them put up before winter this year, or we have to spring?
Well, the park sign can be done, Bubba can put that up, but, because that's like a 2-week turnaround. The other sign's not gonna come in till
Right.
probably like at the end of the year.
Yeah, might be like a 2-month turnaround to get the
Yeah.
other sign.
And there'll have to be like a location probably ironed out.
Right, that's what I was gonna say, when we get
Right,
it,
make
then
sure all
we can
that-
all talk about that.
Because you're looking at moving it from where it was closer into town, right? The one here on the south side?
It makes sense to me.
The one with,
It's on somebody's property right now, on four
you're talking about the
twenty-one.
gate, the,
Yeah, the gateway
the
sign,
chain,
the chain link one.
well, Tom had a thought about that, about the, our ultimate goal was to have one at the intersection of 421 and 2, which is a very, very busy intersection, I believe. I mean, it's probably the busiest, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but, and then the second one would be at 6 and 2, but then you have that roundabout that's going in, maybe.
So
So,
you're talking about north 421 and 2 up by,
mhm.
yes.
And then you had said about the south one, would the Prairie Meadow sign be enough to
Yeah, because we
serve
already have
as,
a signage at Prairie Meadow Park when you come in on the south side of
Right.
town. I don't
so
think
he didn't know
any-
if we would need one farther south or,
Does it make sense to invest? The only thing is we'll have to get if we do it further south, we'll have to get an easement or something.
Right.
We don't have any, where the sign sits,
mhm.
we don't have any easement or anything.
That's private property, right?
Well, I believe it's Michael's, yeah, Michael gave the truck stop. Yeah.
It'd be nice if we put it, if you invest money, you had an easement or some way of controlling what you got on there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, you just can't go and put it on,
Yeah, so they can, the
you can't put it in
town,
the right of way, and you can't put it on somebody's property without permission.
And here's another thought, so say, so, now that you said that, so say we only wanna go with the 2 signs at the north junction and then over here at 6 and 2, and we wanna not put anything at the south junction, but we possibly keep that chain link sign up there, spruce that up, have organizations take their signs down that are not conforming, and the organizations that want, the service organizations that want new signs, get brand new signs, and then they can put them up, so that, and we can maybe do some landscaping underneath that chain link, so it does look better. So their signs are in town. That's an option too, if you didn't want an actual gateway sign on the south
Yeah.
junction. It'd be a more inexpensive way to still display their signs, but maybe spruce that chain link, if you can, sign up, a chain link fence up, I don't know. It's just a thought,
that's a good idea. I like
so,
it. And that'd be a good community project, could be a
Yeah.
good community project too.
a BC project, we get the community involved, right?
And I would think with the west one, if you're gonna put something up there, you put it up there, because even if there is a roundabout, then you're gonna get something to change some of that stuff around, I would imagine.
Well, that's what Tom was saying, I didn't know if the state was,
We could talk to one of the project managers at the state level and see if there's, you know, if there's a way we can coordinate with them when they're doing this project to find they would grant us a location there while they're doing the project, you know. They're gonna know what's gonna be affected, cause you don't know what they're gonna tear up when they start that project.
Right.
It could be,
right,
that's, cause if they say they're storing equipment somewhere, or they gotta
mhm.
move dirt around or slope it a certain way, even if it's not there right away, they might still get into the property a little bit.
Mhm. I mean, if we put one up, like say next year if we were able to come up with the funds to buy the second one, and they did that roundabout with the state, I don't know how they work, but are they reasonable and would be willing to put that sign back to where it would be acceptable for us?
They're probably gonna make us take it out.
Do you know what I mean? How does that work?
I would think of force our hand to do so.
I would think there's some costs involved that they have to pick up on that, but
Okay,
what I also gotta say with that is, remember, they donated, or when you had here at 421 and 6, I'm sorry, 421 and, yeah,
Part of
421
the park.
and 6, at that south side of the park, that at one point in time, they donated land to the town, and then when that was redone, when the curve came out and they did the straight intersection, the town did not reciprocate back. The state had to buy that land to do what they had to do, so
mhm.
I don't know if they got that long a memory, but
I don't know the details on that transaction, so I have to pull those records.
I do have a contact with NDOT, we can reach out to them and just see,
That's a good, I mean, just saying, thinking in the future.
they can tell us yay or no.
I thought on that type of stuff, that there was something that had to be moved, that they, you know, they allow for that, or at least you can negotiate it at the time.
Yeah,
Okay, something to think about in the future,
alright. And then, anything else on the beautification signs?
on the signs, no.
No, I have one other thing that I wanted to ask about though.
Okay.
We were considering doing some type of fundraising activity. we threw out a whole bunch of different ideas, whether we do like a chili supper, you know, the American Legion would donate us the hall, you know, or if we did something like a pancake breakfast, or if we did something like a car wash, or if we just did, you know, like sell a brick, you know, over here for this park area that we're getting ready to think about doing, but, we just wanted to throw it out that we would like, or we thought it would be nice if the members of the student council, or the town hall, employees and the police and the organizations of Westville were all involved in working it, so that they would kind of be able to do like a meet and greet for other people for the community members of Westville. So I don't know what you guys think about doing something. We are gonna be looking for other ways to raise money as far as, we did not get the Unity Foundation grant this year, so we'll do that again next year, and we'll see if there are other grants we can apply for, but, just to try to get some funds for, like, you know, the bike rack, the flower pots, we'd like to plant a couple trees, we'd like to put a clock in the center of this area over here, so we're just trying to come up with ideas of raising money.
Is there any, like, organizations, it's probably a tricky, fundraising is always a tricky question.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but it's not the state board of council too.
Is there any way we could partner with an organization, like, be under and then have it, couldn't you, where they donate funds?
I was thinking that if there's anything donated, it has to be donated to the town,
Yeah,
and the town board would have to approve it to go back out for those things. Is
What?
that-
it would have to
Right.
go into it has to go into
Yeah.
a specific revenue account, so, and it'll be only used for whatever we're using
Yeah, I
it
think
for.
so, yeah.
So I have to look into that.
I think it has to be donated to the town and then come back
I
out.
would check that part of it first before you start thinking about other things.
I think it's a good, I mean, I wouldn't mind helping with.
Yeah, it would be donated to the town and
Sure.
then go into that specific revenue, and then that revenue, like we have, like another Piney Fund. That money was all donated to the town, and she specifically said it has to be used for the park. So that's now gone, so that was done. But we also have the revolving loans that, for the new shelter and stuff at the Prairie Meadow Park that we did. Those funds were donated as well, and had to be specifically used for that. So it's possible, I mean, there's obviously ways to do that. Have to look to see about partnering, I don't know about that. I mean, it's not possible, I just don't know about how it would work with the funds.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we can look into that.
okay, that sounds good. Anything else on, again, make sure you touch base with Chamber too, on the Unity Funds, the Westville Community Grant.
I know,
Who would I
wrote it down.
contact?
I'll email Drew, I was supposed to email Drew the our grant, and I forgot.
That might be an opportunity
I'll do
for you
tomorrow.
guys on the.
All right.
I'll email,
Possibly.
yeah, well, yeah,
Well, that'd be a good way to,
sure,
yeah, a good resource.
yeah.
The other, so then going on to new business, zoning ordinance, I just wanted to give a brief update on where we're at. So we've been talking, this has been a year journey, we brought this up, just to kind of recap everybody. LaPorte County, Michigan City, and the city of LaPorte did a joint zoning ordinance, 5 years back, maybe. They had a grant to do this. They've tweaked this zoning ordinance throughout the years and got it to where it is today, so it's been already kind of taken through the ropes. We've taken their zoning ordinance and we're trying to adopt it for smaller towns. If that makes sense, because on that zoning ordinance, they got basically it's for the county, and then each town uses that same ordinance, but they kind of deviate in different areas. So what we're trying to do is you have it for, it's for the county, it's for the cities, and we're gonna have a small town section. Basically, we're gonna kind of go underneath this ordinance as well. So Charlie Ray with Dooming Groups, been working on it. And also, we've had a small committee from the planning commission and then other small towns working on it as well. So,
This is the first I've heard about
Ethan,
this.
I thought
Ethan
that
was
was the
supposed to
loud
update.
noise I was supposed to hear the Thursday morning when he was telling you at 7 a.m. Was your,
I don't
like,
remember- you made it, I don't remember this part.
oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Ethan's actually been,
he has been part of the meetings and
Yeah, a lot back.
on it,
we've been doing it for a year,
yeah.
so.
What we wanna do is the planning, the zoning ordinance we have now that is awful,
Yeah,
we want to adopt the LaPorte County ordinance, but making it specific
to the town of West.
to the town, and it'll be the way it's set up, it'll show each article that's in the ordinance, what applies to us and what applies to cities, counties, towns.
It'll make it more, what we're having in
I have no idea what you guys are talking
You're
about.
gonna, he's gonna email.
so maybe we can have a meeting after this, I can go through with you. It seems, this will make it more, it's gonna make it easier on you, it's gonna make it easier on Charlie, and then easier on all the citizens in the town, because our ordinance gets very confusing, and it eats up a lot of time, from attorneys, on the attorney level, and the, inspector level, and then on the resident, trying to figure out what applies and what, and then in the office here.
Well, all I'll say again, this is a relatively new thing to me. I mean, he may have mentioned something, now I feel like he mentioned something really quickly in passing, but we were going over a lot of different things on this. But I mean, adopting a zoning ordinance is not something that's done quickly without a great deal of deliberation, a great deal of review. Typically what happens, to be honest with you, in most situations, is a consultant is utilized who's an expert in the area of planning and zoning to review it to make sure that, and especially as it regards to the zoning map and everything else. So that
Right.
got me.
Well, that's what Charlie Ray's been, Doolin Group has been that, he's been our inspector at Westville for 2 years, has it been 2 or 3 years now? 3 years?
Yeah, we contract him to do all of our building inspecting stuff.
So he's very, and he does all our,
Mhm.
so he's very familiar with what's working and what's not working, and he's very familiar with, other towns as well. I know he does Beverly Shores, but, LaPorte County, what we're looking at doing is LaPorte County's ordinance is a lot cleaner and a lot smoother, and it'll make it more universal within our county to adopt something similar.
I mean, certainly, I'm gonna have to get brought up to speed. I mean, this is something that usually takes, for a lawyer, I mean, months and months and months and months and months to deal with. And now that I'm hearing about it in more detail for the first time, it's something I really gotta get brought up to, to speed on.
Well, and we might be able to talk to, one thing that might be a good idea to get you up to speed, we could have a meeting with yourself, Charlie Ray, and we might even be able to reach out to LaPorte County, attorney right now, that was very involved in the creation of it, Doug Beege, maybe possibly.
But it's not creating a unified ordinance, correct?
Going off a template, basically.
Yeah, we're using it as a template.
Right, you're still maintaining your own zoning ordinance.
That's correct.
Your own advisory plan commission.
Yep.
It's just utilizing that, but for example, how does their R2, I don't even know how their.
That's Charlie's going through the process of updating all the maps, so that's something that's gonna take time. Right now where we're at, and we're in the review process, we're going through their ordinance, highlighting areas that are a concern, don't apply to us, kinda going through that. What we were wanting to do today was this draft, just to have, if there was anybody on the planning commission that were interested in the review process, just from our level, before it goes out as a draft in like the next couple months, to start reviewing it, if there's any.
Okay, I don't know, just keep it real a little bit, because I wanna make sure, I tried to get a hold of Charlie, but he's out of town this week, because there are a couple things I need to talk to Charlie about.
Okay,
So I need to sit down with him
okay.
to get a handle on what we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely, and if, that's what,
Put me on the list.
yeah,
I'd like to see it.
okay. So,
And keep in mind, as you're reviewing it, he is making it to where a specific section, if it's not applicable to us, the town column wouldn't be, however it's checked or whatever.
and once you actually, I don't know if you've seen LaPorte County's ordinance,
Yeah.
it'll make, once you see it, it'll make sense too, and when we have a meeting with Charlie and talk about it, it'll, and he can go through a lot of the issues we're having with our current ordinance too. And
Well, maybe the thing to do is, once he gets back in town, and some time to get set aside, maybe
Sure.
you and I and Charlie can sit down and have a conversation, so that I'm
Yeah.
brought up to speed.
Yeah, because it's something that, well, we've realized, like, we started on this, a year ago? All the small towns in South County are struggling with zoning ordinances. They're just, some of them are even ours
Ours is bad, but
is
some
bad,
are
but some
worse.
are way worse. Or they haven't been updated in 30 years,
Right.
and so this is a concern we're all having, but it's, we've been working with, La Crosse as well. They've been involved. Kingsbury has interest in being involved.
Charlie's gonna show,
Yeah.
I don't remember what city he said, when they get adopted, because theirs is so bad.
Beverly
Yeah.
Shores, I think.
Yeah, Beverly Shores, but, I mean,
Yeah,
we have to do something, ours is not working.
What was the name of the gentleman who worked on that?
And
Yeah.
Mandan?
Mhm.
Jim Mandan.
Mhm.
And Patrick Lip was town attorney,
Planning commission attorney.
planning commission attorney, thank you.
So, anyways, so it's good to know. Is anybody, if we get, I'll meet with you first, we'll go through it.
You and Charlie, I actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's on my list to try and get a hold of next week, you know, it is with Charlie, but,
Yeah.
you know, to try and figure out, sometime we got the holiday coming up here, so we'll figure out a time to get together.
That sounds good. It is, I mean, I've been reviewing it for a while now, and it's something a little bit, it'll be nice if we can do this, because, it's gonna make it cleaner and easier, and we're gonna be consistent with, it's not, when people come in here and wanna build a project, we're not gonna be way far off from Michigan City report and the county.
But he's looking at the map in terms of lining up what you have now with,
It's gonna all be it's not gonna change, like, we don't wanna create conflict with what's actually zoned right now, it's gonna have to be consistent. So it's just getting the labels and that, how it's classified in the zoning
And
ordinance.
there were only a few things that we changed from when Jim Mandan did that, but there were a few.
Yeah.
So
Our
hopefully
goal-
that's been all kept track of.
Yeah. Charlie's goal is not to, and there will be a review, there will be the actual review process where you have public commenting and everything,
it's a public hearing.
public hearing. So that, right now, we're just kind of just diving into the review process, reviewing it internally to see,
So at the beginning.
very.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just carve
We're at
out,
the beginning of the review process.
just carve out the subdivision while you're doing all of this.
What is your anticipation, like, typically, how long does this take to get, I mean, because
Took us a
we've been
little
riding with
over a
this
year and a
ordinance
half.
that's been awful
Oh, it took
for,
at least a
since
year and a half.
'03,
Yeah.
or since '09,
It was 09 in the last.
2009-3, right, and it's awful. So we need to really get moving and get something new adopted. I'm just saying, from a standpoint in this office, the people that the stuff that happens here is like ridiculous.
What happens, if I can ask?
Well, in the zoning ordinance itself, there's a lot of discrepancies as to what you need a permit for and what you don't. But then if you see that in this section that you do, back here it says that you don't. Fences,
Sheds.
the setbacks, there's a lot of discrepancies in the zoning ordinance when you really read through it.
There's
As
a
we're
lot of-
finding out, as Charlie's trying to issue
When we did
permits.
update the ordinance, there was a lot of non-conform, it created
Yeah.
a lot of non-conforming lots.